Guys, it's Haley here, a cultural resource advisor for Dnaagdawenmag, Binnoojiiyag Child and Family Services. I just went out and picked some red willow, and I thought that I'd share a little video with you of how I make a dream catcher out of red willow. You can probably find some near you, and the only materials you really need is the red willow, either sinew. If you don't have sinew, I'm going to try this one out with yarn, so some white yarn, any color yarn, and if you want to add a couple beads in there or some feathers, that's up to you, but really you can just do this with the red willow that you find outside and yarn. So hopefully you have this at home and you can follow along with me. So this is what red willow looks like. You'll find it, a red willow branch, they kind of grow low. So they're very bendable, so that's why they're great. So I've made up a few pieces that I'm going to make later in this kind of a shape. So I've just wrapped them together and then tied them at the top. There's another, so they can be all different sizes. There's a smaller one, and then there's a even smaller one. So now I'm going to do the netting, the web on these. But I'm just going to show you before I do that how I tie it together. This one I'm going to cut a couple pieces of the yarn, and I'm going to try to do this piece in an actual circle instead of the teardrop shape like those ones. So they're very bendy. So I'm going to just kind of bend it into the shape that I want. And a tie right here. You kind of have to hold it really tightly. I like to kind of pinch it in between my legs too. And if you even want, you could get somebody else to hold it while you hold it in place. Because this is probably the most trickiest part. So I've kind of got it there, so I'm going to just wrap it around again. Oh, see, it wants to go in this shape. So I might keep trying and try to get it a round shape, but it is easier with the stick to do this. If you do want a round dream catcher, look for some rings like this at Michael's. You can get small ones, but this is for a large size dream catcher. It's much easier, obviously, to make a circle with an already made circle. So I'm going to show you now how to web the dream catcher. Okay, so I've started by making my little tie at the top. This one I'm going to do this way instead of having my tie here, but you could do it either way that you want. So you're going to start by tying the beginning of your string into here so that you can't really notice the knot. Then you're going to start wherever you want your first. The bigger you make it, the less time it's going to take you and the bigger your web's going to be. So as you can see, this one that I made, they're much closer together at the beginning, so there's lots of webbing. So this one I'm going to do a little bit bigger. It's going to not take as long, and it's going to have bigger holes in it. So I've gone about this far apart. What I did was, and you're going to start with about 2 arms lengths of string. So wherever I wanted to go, which was right here, you're going to loop around and then you're going to put your string, so above that, you're going to put your string through and over, so you make that loop. See that loop there? You're going to do that so that it will, when you pull, it's going to make a tight thing like this. So you're going to want them to be a little bit even, so I'm going to make my next one about the same width. So I'm going to go to probably about here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll put the string through there, make sure it doesn't get tangled, and pull. And just continue to do that all the way around. It's a little bit too big. And I want it to meet up to here, so I'm looking at this and thinking that that one might be a little too big, so I'm probably going to make it into 2. One here, and then the last one should come right up to the beginning where you started. So that's your first time around. So now you're going to do the same thing again, except you're going to go through each one that you've already made. And make sure you're pulling somewhat tight as you go. So now I'm going to go into this hole. But I'm going to go back through my thing to create that loop again. And you're going to just go halfway. So then it's going to create this pull. And the next time, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you're going to be going through these ones. So it's kind of hard to tell right now, but when you go around again, you'll see. So you're going to go through this one. And with the string, this is my first time trying it with string. It is a bit looser than if you use sinew or like a cordage. Is a little bit better. But if all you have is this, it will look beautiful when you're all finished, I'm sure. So I've gone all the way around once. So now I'm going to go through the second holes. So as you can see, there's that one that I said was going to be a little hard to tell at the beginning. That's where you're going to start when you go around the second time. So you're going to go through this one. Oops, I went through the wrong hole. It's hard with the pushing this through the holes as well, especially as they get smaller, but hopefully your string will get smaller as you go too. So there we go. And the rest is a little bit easier to see. So as you go, if you want to add a spirit bead on, so if you want to add a bead within the web, wherever you decide that you want it to sit, so I kind of might want one right here, I'm going to add a bead right now onto the string before I continue the webbing. So just pinch it where you're at and you can add your bead. So I'm just going to add a pony bead because this string is a little bit thick and I can't really fit a smaller bead onto it. So I'm going to string my pony bead on. And the end of my string is a little frayed, so I'm going to trim that as well. There we go. So right onto the Dreamcatcher, and then you're going to keep going. And you can add more than one spirit bead, or you can just do one, up to you. And this is a little bit long. I don't think I need this much, and it's hard to put through, so I'm going to trim it down because we're getting closer to the middle. So now I'm going to go through this one. This bottom piece ended up being pretty big. And as you get closer to the middle, you can decide how big you want your center hole to be. So I'm gonna keep going a little bit longer so it's a little bit smaller than this. If you like it that size, you can leave it. I think it's starting to look almost done there. So I think I'm going to tie it off here where the bead is. So you're just going to go around a corner of one of the holes that you've already gone through, and you're going to just tie a knot. Shouldn't be too noticeable. So I've tied my knot there, and I'm just going to trim that off as close as I can. And there it is. So now you can add feathers if you want. You can either stick the feathers into the spirit bead like this one that I have here, or you can tie on some more string or leather, like long pieces of leather, to let it hang down. And you can put some more beads on there and stick the feathers into that so that you'll have the long feathers hanging. So I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you can make this at home with whatever materials you might have hanging around. And yeah, thank you for watching. Miigwech.